I'm Criag, and join me on my adventures with Criag's cryptocurrency as we cover the blockchain, Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. Interviewing the best in the industry, giving tips and tricks, and also sharing with you projects that I'm most excited about. You're watching Criag's Crypto Corner, the best in Web3, blockchain, NFT, and cryptocurrency technologies. I love when creativity and a driven passion to create on a blank canvas the innermost workings of a successful NFT project. From the look and feel of a digital asset to its conception, management, all done in-house with today's guests, Moverz. They are the creative tech company and digital media agency. They launched into full throttle into Web3. Super excited to get into some great content with these gentlemen. This group is harnessing NFTs in such a compelling way. My guests today are Ryan Costello, co-founder and creator of Music Festival, Summertime, All the Time, and CEO and co-founder of Moverz Group. And I've also got Joe Rizzo, creative director, and the gentleman responsible for helping to put this together today. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So, you're an all-in-one shop for people wanting to create digital assets. And before we hopped on today, I said to you guys, what are you most excited about? And I want to start there.
Cool. I think what we're most excited about is kind of redefining what this technology can be used for brand building. And so we're kind of redefining like loyalty and membership programs using NFTs as like a utility-based, kind of big campaign to better connect with audiences and communities that these brands are building. So,
I love it. What about you, Joe?
Well, right now, Tiki tokens. That's the biggest thing I'm excited about.
I love it. And so the Tiki tokens, what? It's 777 of them?
Yes, sir.
All right. So tell me a little bit about this Tiki token, how it came about, and what it represents.
Yeah. So we created a partnership with this hospitality group on Long Island called Island Time Hospitality. They have a bunch of like different beach venues on Long Island, and one of their venues is Dublin Deck. And the co-founders of that, Scotty Campbell and Mark Miller, we kind of met with them to say, hey, I think we could like work on like this digital asset kind of campaign with your brand. So we were trying to like figure out the best, like what that looks like. And like everything in their spot is all about like tikis. It's very like jungle themed, like you're on a beach, you're on a resort. They want to make you feel like you're not even on Long Island when you go to their places. So it just kind of made sense to go through and create this like
they have
token.
tikis all over the place.
Love it.
It even used to be called like Leaky Tiki or something like that.
Yeah, that was like the original name.
And what blockchain is this Tiki token going to sit on?
Ethereum.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so, the cool thing about it is as we're carrying our phones, it's a sense of us. It's our identity. It's how we connect with other people. You pull up into the area or the restaurant and you show your pass. And there are a couple different nightclubs that are going to be doing this. There's a big launch coming up this week for another club. The question for you guys is, they show this pass, they verify basically through, I guess, just their app. And I'm curious to see how that's going to be done. And you are maybe a little more technical. How do you see that process going down for people who are holding NFTs for restaurants or special venues?
I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of education that needs to happen because, I mean, just even based on their specific audience, they might not necessarily know how to even purchase an NFT. So a lot of what we're doing with them is like building out those educational programs, whether it's how-to videos or actually doing events at their spot where people can go and learn. So there's definitely going to be a learning curve. And like, we know that there's going to be challenges when we start this thing. But the way that we're thinking of it is, I mean, are you familiar with the Long Island Railroad? Like how they have like the running QR where you can't take a screenshot because it's just constantly changing. That's kind of how we're setting it up, where people could just show their NFT, scan it, and then they get all the utility.
Well, I think it also explains to another thing with rewards programs. You have a thing called a POAP, which is proof of attendance protocols. Mm-hmm. Do you see that those are going to be more selective? And the way that I say it for people, the audience that will tune in on this, is that, remember when you'd go to the coffee shop and they'd staple a coffee card, and every 12th cup, every 12th you get,
I lost every single one of those.
Me too. So now we're not going to lose them. Yeah. And obviously when you go in, it's much easier to track that and then also be rewarded for that. Do you see that is a big player in the NFT space as you guys are working on that?
I mean, we've done POAPs just for like our own little events, and I think it's a great like educational way to get people to, I mean, people love to get something free. So like the cool thing is the ones that we were using, like you could just get an email. So even if you didn't set up your wallet right away, like it just lives on your email until you decide to like set up your wallet. So things like that. Eventually, when we did enough of them, like even my mom now has a wallet. So it's just like people. I think when you learn how to do this stuff, like it just kind of primes them up for what else is.
She has a MetaMask?
She does have a MetaMask.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And you talked to her about the seed phrase?
Yeah, I mean, she's really organized, so she actually has all my seed phrases. So like,
oh wow.
And my girlfriend, I like
Okay.
give it to the most responsible people because I just lose shit real quick.
Whatever you do, don't put it on Google Drive.
Yeah, no, it's all on Post-it notes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what's
wait.
wrong with
I was
Google
just
Drive?
gonna say. I was gonna stop you there.
treasure hunt.
A little shout out for Sheild Folio. I've got some of the men of Bryant University. They know about this. I'm sure they do. I get the head nod that they do. Sheild Folio, they have a ghost pen. So what you can do is you can put your information in there, and the paper is, I don't want to say waterproof, but basically over time it doesn't, the paper doesn't disintegrate. But please get it off of those notepads. I'm glad you don't have it on Google Drive.
I mean,
that makes me happy to hear.
Actual note page, like
Yeah.
like even that you don't think? Yeah,
No, and split
I'm
up the
gonna
seed
lose
phrase. I love the look. So let's talk about the summertime all the time. Let's talk about what that represents. I did see the NFT that you created, this digital NFT of a bud. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So basically, when we first started Moverz, it was just this big vision of bringing together creative people to work on projects. So we had this like community of 30 different kind of like creative entrepreneurs that were musicians, artists, developers, all types of different people from all walks of life. And we were trying to come up with like, what's the best thing that we can all work on collectively that kind of brings all our talents together. To get it going. So that was kind of where Summertime All the Time was created. It was, or Staff Fest for short. It's a music festival that we can kind of showcase, not just music, but art, technology, different vendors, different businesses, local. So we kind of like, that was our first big project that we all kind of collaborated on. And so Summertime All the Time is like the mascot is a pineapple. So everything we do is like these alien pineapples like are invading Long Island to bring color because sometimes people are just caught in their minutia day to day. So that's kind of like the fandom of the whole festival. So we have some crazy media, like we're working on a bunch of different like pineapple products and all this type of stuff. And then when Web3 and NFTs came out, we were like, all right, now it's time to kind of create something that kind of goes hand in hand with the festival that we built because we already have this utility available. It's how do we like section this? So
do you think that utility sometimes can fall short because projects cannot execute in a timely manner, but then they can sometimes not execute at all? Do you think that that is sometimes a barrier for projects that will fail to give what they've promised?
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of these projects that are being released, the thing is, I think they're thinking of the utility as like a second thing. They're so focused on getting the product out there, building the community, and then they'll be like, all right, and then we'll figure out the utility. But some of them don't realize like they don't maybe have the experience or what it actually takes to create those experiences. So we kind of flipped it where for the last couple of years, we've been building these kind of experiences and different types of utility, whether it's in film, media, events. So when NFTs came, it was kind of like, all right, well, now we can kind of connect the dots here and use this to, fund these experiences that we're able to create. So I feel like we actually are more confident in what we're able to deliver, and we're now learning more about how do we do that through this Web3 world.
I love it. Joe, I didn't like Discord for a long time. I was very much against it, and I would just usually stick to Twitter. And for many reasons, Twitter's much easier to operate through. It's much more user-friendly, I feel, and I feel that Discord is very cloudy. Now, one of the things that you guys do at Moverz in-house is that when you're launching a successful project, one of the things that you're doing is you're also managing their social profile. And I speak a lot on my podcast about social currency. What are your thoughts on Twitter and Discord? What do you see as the pros with Twitter and Discord, and then what are the cons?
Well, Twitter, I can't really speak on too much. I don't really work with Twitter. Like Ryan and I are more like on the creative end, creating the ideas, and coming up with the utilities. But Discord, I like. Discord seems like it's here to stay for a while. It's gonna be like the future, like social media. I think it's like one of those.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you see as that as a very powerful way to build that fan base.
Oh, totally.
Projects.
Yeah, it's huge. I see how effective it is. With every collection needs to have a Discord. It's like a staple. So
I didn't get introduced into Discord until I was actually in a networking group. And then I was like, what is this page? And then you click, and then all these things can scroll down. And now for me, I see it as, whether it's cryptos or NFTs, I see it as such a valuable resource because everything is all in one, and it's well organized. Do shut off your DMs because you can get scammed, and be careful because sometimes servers can get hacked. Yeah.
There's scams and spams.
Scams,
it's all
and
over
scams and spams. I love it.
It's everywhere. It's on every social media.
You guys kind of operate in sort of a Shark Tank manner. Not sharks, but a Shark Tank manner. So you'll have a business that'll come in and say, hey, we want to hop onto Web3. We're really excited about it. What are the criteria for your client base or new clients, right? Because I want people, if they're looking to explore the House of Information Store value, that if they're thinking about leveling up into Web3 for their business and they're thinking 2 to 10 years down the road, not a day or a month down the road, tell me a little bit about how you evaluate businesses for the criteria of Moverz being involved with them in a partnership manner.
I mean, the people that we've been working with closely right now, just because we're also growing, is we want to grow with people that already kind of have this community built and are looking to just grow from there and are trying to be more creative. They're trying to stand out, push the needle more when it comes to media and marketing and creating these type of campaign experiences. So a lot of the brands we're working with already kind of have these communities, which also makes it a lot simpler for us to work with them because we're not creating maybe a Twitter or a Discord from scratch. It's just converting their already existing audience into these new platforms to, release these NFT collections. So that's kind of like how we've been doing it now, is approaching restaurants, hospitality groups, companies that have the means and the community already built to be able to launch something.
Yeah. And I think the advantage with you guys is that you give people a chance to rethink their roadmap. Mm-hmm. And I think that's extremely important. And the reason for that being is that a lot of people don't revisit their mission statement, why they got into business. A lot of people don't revisit their values. A lot of people don't revisit their costs, their COGS, cost of doing business. They don't visit and look over their spreadsheet. They'll handle that at the end of the year, so long as I'm making money. But you guys give them a real chance to revamp everything, clean the room, metaphorically speaking, and then press forward with a great project. What is the involvement or the engagement from you guys with the projects that you're working on? I mean, how many hours a week are you working with your clients? And then what is their end responsibility if they're to connect with you guys?
I mean, the way that we kind of work with our partners is that we go all in. We treat them as our own. Like, we don't want to just work with clients where they're paying us to do a service and then we hand them the expectation that they were looking for. Like, if we're going to get in a project, we're going to bring all our resources, whatever it takes to make it work. So like, that's kind of how we think. So in terms of like time, it's hard to always gauge because it's just what's needed. It's just, things come up all the time and it's constantly innovating, constantly taking these projects and seeing where they can go long-term and not just thinking of it as a one-off type of
Yeah.
deal.
I mean, at the time of this recording, we saw a heavy market adjustment, whether it was digital assets or cryptocurrencies over the past few weeks. Stocks took a bubble bath. The housing market is going to shift. We're looking like we're going to hit a recession. These are all just things that are just out there in the media, so it's nothing that I'm sharing that's new in that regard. But what I think it does, and we even talked about this before, as I mentioned last week on my podcast, there was a quote or a tweet by the gentleman who owns the Knights of Degen, and Drew, and he said, builders keep building, consumers will keep consuming, and the market will continue to move along. And I think that's a really interesting thing. And I think with you guys, here this market's down. You guys didn't go, wait a minute, NFTs have dropped, cryptos have dropped, we're done. Stop building, stop being creative. It actually, and you said this so brilliantly, right? Or maybe it was Joe. I'm going to give Joe the credit on this one. Sorry, Rye. He said, we don't stop innovating. He says, if anything, we double down on it. Does that how you feel?
I think that's how we all feel.
All right, cool.
I mean,
me too.
I believe like people talk about like recession. Like to me, it's like recession leads to renaissance. Like I think it's a good thing. It means that we have to rethink. We have to, something wasn't working. We need to rebuild. And so we never stop doing those things. So for us, like this is like a good time for us when things are freaking out. People want to rethink what their next move is. And for us, it's been the same. It's just keep creating, keep working with people.
Joe asked me if I was a day trader. I said, we're not in 2021 anymore. You could buy that coin last year and all of a sudden it would pop and everybody's like showing it at their family, reunion. Like, look, I'm a millionaire. It's like, no, you're not. Yeah. So I think this year is like the longer term play. So people that are getting into projects, they have to believe in that for 2 to 5 years. And I think there's tremendous value because we've only seen a portion of the market hop on. Like for instance, with MetaMask, there are only 7 million users. and a fraction of those actually have NFTs. And one of the things that I was talking about with the guys from Bryant is we were mentioning about how it's a recycled market on OpenSea. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. It's the same buyers constantly. And I think I want to support centralized platforms, such as, in a way, well, OpenSea is kind of, because you can pay credit card now, so it's opened it up more to the masses. I'm not sure where that is stored, if they have a wallet or if OpenSea does, but, I support platforms like Coinbase. They've been getting a little bit of FUD lately in retrospect to being a custodial, because you don't own that crypto unless you transfer it to your personal wallet. But the ultimate thought is that you're creating projects that aren't quick plays or overnight plays. You're helping businesses to thrive and succeed long term. So you're thinking about Web3 in such an immersive way. So let me ask you this question, Ryan. What does Metaverse mean to you?
I mean, me and Rizzo were walking in the mall the other day, and you look at all these locations and some of these brands, it's like, why is it even worth for them to have this mall? Like, no one's going, but it's a perfect way to see everything that this brand feels like, smells like, looks like, and it's not necessarily about always profiting it. That brand has so much money, they see it as worth it, just so if you even see it, you get a grasp of exactly what that is. And I feel like that's just what the Metaverse is, in the sense that it's just a new place where people are going to go in a set of eyes, but maybe it's not just locally where your mall is, it's globally, and it's just a new way for people to kind of grab what you're about. But I'm a big believer in the real world too, so it's like I see all these types of things as a tool to better connect in real life to, work on something, create something.
So, Joe, do you have any virtual goggles, VR goggles?
No, but I like trading on Facebook a lot, so those are all over, the Oculus Quests.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all over. No, I don't have one. I almost got one.
I'm looking forward to when they become nice, thin eyeglasses, something that you actually want to wear. But I would just be so afraid, talking to my buddy and be like, hey, I'm here. Craig, I'm busy right now. Can't talk to you. I'm in the Metaverse. You'd wait a minute.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's going to have glasses. It's going to screw up everyone's eyes soon.
Think
I'm
about
already
this.
blind, so it's whatever.
If you're already at that point, just keep going.
I'm right here, Ryan. I'm right.
Am I in the Metaverse?
But I guess the question is, right, when the slogan came out, the smartest thing you can do is stay home. You had to figure out that this emergence of Web3 was coming at speed. They're like, oh, perfect. Now we can put you in augmented reality. And my wife works from home, and she's always on these Zoom calls. And which is interesting, I support, I like when people go out in real life and actually connect with other human beings. I think it's extremely important, and I think we thrive for that. Is that actual, physical connection, just to be able to talk to somebody and look at somebody in real life. I think where it gets blurry, where I kind of get a little concerned, and probably not maybe another 10, 15 years down the block, is when you're going to be able to actually be in this immersive universe, and then I just literally take off my goggles and it's like you're not here. Yeah. That's going to creep me out a little bit. I'm going to be honest with you on that one.
Well, we had some guys on the podcast that owned multiple VR companies, like 4 or 5 of them. And they were saying, all right, so right now, what we see in real life is 10K, and they have 8K TVs. And he's like, they're eventually going to have 10K TVs. And so everything will look exactly how this looks. So once they figure out smell, taste, all the other ones, you're not going to be able to distinguish if you're in it or not. And then we might have already did that.
Yeah, someone asked me, is crime going to happen in the Metaverse? And I said, well, whatever we as human beings have in the real world, the good and the bad and the ugly, we're going to bring right into this Web3 space. And so I want to focus always on the positive.
Well, me and Ryan always say, even if it happened already, who cares? Let's just do what we're doing.
This is what you're doing, yeah.
So what else are you going to do?
Wherever you are, there you are. Is that Alan Watts? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some Alan.
You gave me a really interesting response, and we were just kind of leading up to this interview today, but I asked you, I said, do you have any things in your wallet? And your response to me was?
I mean,
our own projects.
That's all our own projects.
I love that, because that means you're fully vested. And the only thing I had a question is saying, hey, do you know how the process goes down on OpenSea? Because a lot of time you'll get this offer, and you'll get it, and it'll come in wrapped ETH, and then you have to unwrap it. The gas fees are insane.
We bought our own to see that process, so it's like we want to be fully invested in everything we do. I mean, our other partners are very heavily, they're the ones that brought this kind of Web3 world to me and Rizzo, because we were the ones kind of really growing more of the utility and the experience in these things, and it just was like a perfect match.
Yeah.
So now we're learning
very symbiotic
that world. Yeah.
I love it. What's the best way that people can connect with you guys?
I guess go on the website, right?
Yeah, I mean, moversgroup.com.
Yeah, and we're gonna have us all in the show notes, but moversgroup.com is really where they kind of go to get a good feel for you.
I mean, Moversgroup.com or any of our social medias, I feel like is a good way to just, as a first touch. I mean, the goal for us all is to have, like, with Movers community, it's like we'd rather have a small community, but everyone's working on something that they believe in. If it's a project, then have a large community of just fans. Right now, you know, like, because we're working more B2B with the businesses that we're working with to kind of have them create those communities. And then long term, hopefully that world of Movers grows because
I love it.
You know?
And I heard a really good rumor. Joe Rizzo is going to be bringing back his podcast.
That's what I heard too.
He had 200 episodes at one point, and then right as the pandemic hit, he kind of shut it down. But I'm calling him out today.
I'm an in-person guy. Zoom is not for me.
It's not for me either.
I don't know when to talk, and then there's pauses. It's not fun. So I'm not into Zoom. That's why we're here.
Do you know they're doing the virtual hand signaling on Zoom?
No.
Yeah, so you can like raise your hand instead of clicking the button. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's
Really?
too much rules. I'm not in school again. I didn't like school.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
I tried that with my son. He's like going to be 6 this summer, and we tried, you know, a couple like year and a half ago to put him in front of a. You know what? That was just horrible.
Yeah, no. I kind of like how everything's trending towards homeschool now, though. I'm into that.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the kids that I know that have been homeschooled are like more personable than. Yeah. Like the new kids that are like
more
on their
polite,
phones anyway.
Yeah, like they're. I'm with.
It's too much stimuli. I feel like, and I don't know. They're just more focused
away from all the media stuff. And I was thinking about that every morning. I wake up, and the first thought is I have to have a 3 glasses of water. It's the first thing I do, but sadly, it competes with. Oh my God! I got to go to my phone. Who called me? What message was left? That's concerning because I say, well, what does that look like for the years to come? And again, I don't want to get too far off, but I think if we can sort of harness it in a healthy way, I don't know that we have. I feel like it's like, you know, worried about becoming a drug addict. Don't worry, your phone's got you covered. You're good.
We always talk about where like everyone says it's so bad, the robots are taking over, but they're going to take the jobs that no one wants to do anyway.
Right.
So let them come. We'll work with them. But we don't have to be one.
It's
you don't have to let it be in your brain.
There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance between the tech and then, but like it could be a good thing. I mean, like my dad's on a bridge right now. Like that's what he does. He's a bridge construction worker.
Nice.
Like he hates it. He doesn't want to do it. I mean, he's
not nice. Sorry, Dad.
I think he's found I think he likes being a leader and he likes leading his team and like there's positives that they find, but in reality, it's a dangerous job. And it's like if a robot could do it better and we can focus on just creating and doing things that we love, then
let the cars
I'm all
drive.
for it. Yeah,
like let the cars drive to where they have to go. And
that freaks me out. Like, cause I'm kind of a backseat driver, and then having something that is digital with my life in my hands. Like, there's been a lot of cases where.
But but that's the thing. If every single one is automated, it's on a grid. It doesn't matter. Like then they're all going to work.
But we speak to the overall context of technology. Let me just say, gentlemen, it's an honor to have had you on today. I think we covered a good amount of stuff. We talked about the Summerfest. We talked about the token. We talked about the other projects. Most importantly, before we end, who is it that you want to do business with next? Who do you guys want to connect with, and what project does it look like before we end this?
We're talking NFTs.
Well,
yeah, I think so.
We do have a project. So we're working on this thing. Like, there's a very like big boom of like this psychedelic movement of like research and what it can do, and so we wanted to get involved in like called the microdosers and like do like a psychedelic. We're trying to get Dennis McKenna on board. We're trying to get a big psychedelic artist like Alex Gray to be on board. And trying to create like immersive experiences in the metaverse. And
well, tell him. We'll do a clip. Just tell him. Say, Alex, we want you on.
Alex Gray, Dennis McKenna,
Paul Stamets.
Yeah, if you're listening, like we're ready. We're ready to go.
Right now, they're at a microdose.live, a convention like they're hosting. So
I would like to do microdosing one day. I'm a little concerned. You know, will I be like the kid in the corner crying, like reminiscing of childhood experiences?
Not microdosing.
I think that's the beauty of microdosing. It's so tiny. It's just like mood changer. I mean, I believe in like what Alan Watts says. Like once you get the picture, hang up the phone. Like so, I don't really feel like there's a need for it, but I can see the benefit for people that are.
PTSD and addiction problems is definitely a positive.
Nice.
It's recreational in Colorado, right? I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah.
Mike knows.
There's centers.
It's true. And, you know, I just think that it's what was not typical before is becoming more norm. Certain things I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Other things I'm like, huh? But okay, it's all good. Gentlemen, super honored to have had you on today's Craig Goes Crypto Corner podcast.
Been an honor. Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Of course.